since there are some people who come for the first time, it's just a word of reminder. The lunch itself is free, it's a free lunch, but it's always good to not to rely on somebody else's donation. Always practice the act of giving out. So you're advised to give your own donation. How much you donate depends on your ability. In other words, for the meal that you're eating here, the temple don't charge anything, it's free. But don't abuse a free system. It's because some donors, they're so conscientious that they want people to practice, they want to introduce this purity of mind to the society. So make sure that you make your own donations. It's not good to the karma to always depending on other people's giving. You always learn the act of giving, the act of charity. Imagine if in a country everybody wants to give more to the country, as opposed to in a country everybody wants to receive from treasury. Which one is a better country? Even in the family, if every member of the family is considering giving out to the family, it's a functional family. If in the family everybody wants to rip off others, everybody wants to get the best and they don't render any service, they don't help out the cleaning, they don't help out the cooking, they don't help out the shopping, and they just come home and eat and sleep and watch television. You think this is a functional family? That's a dysfunctional family that will have a lot of problems because it's behave on the perspective of egoism, of selfishness. So always learn to give. I always remember this true event, which is worth repeating again. Many years ago, when the temple was just finished the first building, and there are volunteers who go out to solicit donations for the temple so that the temple can build the two buildings at the back. So there's a very conscientious devotee who went out to a rich person to solicit donation. And that rich person is a good friend of his. So he talked to him, to the rich person, and on a few occasions, and the rich person always say, I'll consider, yeah, they're building a temple, I know, that's about 25 years ago, right? 24 years ago. I know they're building a temple in Richmond, that's great, but are you going to donate something? Oh, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Every time when the devotee asked him, he's always saying, I will think about it. And finally, the devotee said, well, they're going to lay the foundation for the other two buildings. We are right now gathering some donations to build the temple. And then they said, all right, fine. So he went back to they were in the living room, he went back to his own bedroom and he took out a set of teaware. And he said, well, this teaware was given to me as a Christmas gift last Christmas and by my friend. And now I donate this tea set to you. You sell this. You auction this out. You sell this, and whatever proceeds you got, you donate to the temple. And this person is a rich person. He's a billionaire. He don't donate anything. He just donate a tea set. And that tea set was given to him by his friend. And I know, later I also know that person. And he passed away 3 years ago, leaving billions of dollars. And I learned from his wife that he gave $2 million to a niece, $3 million to an auntie, and $4 million to uncle in the mainland China, and leave everything to his son and daughters. And his sons and daughters don't have to go to work. They just rely on the bequeath, estates. And a son was always driving a Ferrari. He didn't have to work. And imagine all his money, billions of dollars that he struggled to earn. So he was very hardworking. He worked like 18 hours per day, making his wealth. He make his wealth from investment. he was expert in the Hong Kong stock exchange and he made billions of dollars. But he did not want to use them. He put them in the bank account. So in effect, his billions of dollars, he didn't own any of it. It belongs to the bank. And when he died, it belongs to the estate and belonged to his younger generation. And his younger generation, because there's so much money to spend, they don't really have to work. Imagine if he used his billions of dollars to help the society, to help the poor by giving. And some people are so miserly, they are so parsimonious. They don't want to give a penny even if they have money. So what is his next life? I don't know. You can imagine. Someone who don't want to spend a penny. So make sure that you take that as an anti-example to learn. Don't learn from a miserly that you want to save all your money. And some people, I talk to different people. Sometimes I heard conversation, they say, hey, you have so much money, how come you don't give anything? The reason why I have money is because I don't want to give it out. That's why I have more. If I give it out, how can I save? So it's only now logical and that I never give it out. So you can imagine. Okay, first question. Can Buddhists eat butter or drink milk? Yes. Butter and milk, you don't have to kill the cows for the butter and for the milk. And even the Buddha drink milk, goat milk. So Sakyamuni Buddha. So you can eat butter and milk, no problem. Well, why not add cheese? It's delicious. You can eat cheese too. But make sure there's no egg, there's no meat content in the cheese, and you can eat cheese too. Animal dairy products. Next, does this mean all objects around me are unreal and they are just an illusion in my mind, including other people? All things are unreal because all things originate, all things got created, all things come into being from causality. In other words, this is a towel, and what make this towel come true is the knitting of all these different fabrics together. The people who do it, there's an idea that a towel should be made, and there are threads, and there's a machine. All these are causes put together that make this towel come true. But this is a real towel. This is unreal. Why unreal? Because the causes exist for its reality. It itself does not have a true reality. It does not have its true nature. In other words, it is not permanent. It only depends on causality that it comes true. So it exists for sure, but it's unreal in such a sense that it is empty. It does not have its real eternal nature. So that's unreal. Just like my body, your body. This body is unreal. Why? Because this body is made up of the 5 skandhas. What is matter? This body is made up of matter. This matter is my kidney, my skin, my bone, my eyes, my nose, my ears. That's the matter of my body. And that's the spiritual side of my body, my perception, my conception, my consciousness, and all that. All that exists. But it is existing based on causes put together. My mom and dad came together and made me in the first place. I was in my mom's embryo, and then we went to the hospital, and I climbed out from it, and then I become a baby. And all these, I become a teenager, I went to study and all that, and I've gone through my 100 years, and then I died. And in the process of me living, I have to go through the suffering of aging, sickness, death. I have to go through the suffering of wars, family abuses, family troubles. I have to go through all kinds of sufferings. And then, finally, I got to go. I got to roll into another form of body. Remember, I always imagine myself as a traveler on the road of life. I am the traveler. And every life, I go into a different hotel. I check in and I check out. And every one of this hotel have different standard. If I do good karma, I roll into a good hotel, a 6-star luxurious hotel. Hotel Vancouver. If I didn't do well, I roll into an inn, an express inn that doesn't even have hot water, that's cheap, that has bugs in the beds, that's terrible. So what kind of hotels I go in depends on the karma that I make of myself. But I go into a hotel, and then I got to check out again. I check in, but I got to check out. One day, I got to check out. I check out, and depends on what I have done. I'm the traveler, I go into the next hotel. This time, maybe a hotel of a woman, hotel of a man, a hotel in China, a hotel in Italy, a hotel in Canada. We don't know. But I'm still the same person. My nature, I'm still that person. I haven't changed. My form changed. This form is unreal. This form that I've got here is not real. Why do I recognize this form as real? If I recognize this form as real, I thought this is my ego. This is me. And I create all kinds of mental afflictions to protect that me. I become selfish, I become egoistic, I have anxiety, I have depressions, I'm greedy, I have jealousy, I commit sexual misconduct, I steal, I lie, I kill, I do all kinds of karma. And all this is unreal. But they exist. So don't deny existence. Don't deny the 32 attributes. They are there. Don't deny causes and effect, they are there. But causes and effect do not have their own real nature. They exist only on a transitory basis. Don't recognize them as real. If you grasp it as real, you can't let go. This is my family, this is my wife, this is my son, this is my body. Why do I have to die? I suffer from a disease, I have to die. I don't want to let go. There are people who don't want to let go of their body, and they carry on suffering, even bedridden for years. They still have that disgruntled in their mind that they don't want to let go. But once when you talk to them, they slowly would let go of the body. That happened a lot of times. So when you ask me, there's no object to be obtained because it all exists on causality. Husband and wife, they come together in this lifetime. Why did they come together? Because they have unfinished business. They have unfinished business in love, unfinished business in emotion, unfinished business in monetary items. If they owe each other money, they're going to come back and share. One may benefit more from the other. The husband has to go to work, the wife doesn't have to. The wife just enjoy the money. The husband works 24 hours per day. The wife just sit at home and do all kinds of leisurely stuff. So why is there? He's repaying. And some people is on emotional debt. One party loves the other, and the other spouse has a third relationship. They end up in the divorces. They have unfinished business. All these relationships, they're so complicated. If you look at the labyrinth of life, it's too confusing to look at. It's like a cold web with all these threads. You don't know which one is the first cause. You don't know. Some people repay in kind, some people repay in sentimentality, some people repay with their lives. And all this is unreal. How do you find the reality in the unreal? That should be the question. If everything is unreal, what do? I live in an unreal world. What do? The Buddha pointed out to us that the world is unreal, but we have to work out the real from the unreal. We know that there's something real in the unreal. We know that that person has always been me that's traveling. Do you need to go to these different hotels? Why don't we travel the spiritual path of enlightenment? Why don't we detach from life and death? No more life and death. No more mental afflictions. No more debt to be repaid. No more retribution. No more animal realm. No more ghost realm. No more inferno to suffer from. Just the enlightenment. Just the spirituality, the eternity. Buddha found that and introduced it back to us. You found that path. You tread the path of the sages. You don't have to go through reincarnation anymore. You don't have to go through life and death. You don't have to go through the suffering. Do you still want to suffer? The Buddha walked out from that. And he wanted to tell us we can do the same thing. You don't want to walk out. You still want to walk in these different hotels. It's up to you. The Buddha found that path that can elevate you from reincarnation, from life and death, to that sage path where there's no suffering. So, yeah, it's unreal, but it exists. Life is unreal, but life exists. Don't deny it. If you deny it, you're annihilating causality. You're annihilating cause and effect. Don't cling to the 32 attributes of the Buddha. However, enlightenments do not exclude the 32 attributes. Don't annihilate it. Remember what I gave, the example I gave? If my eyes have an illusion when I see a flower, and I know that flower is not real, then I say, I want to get rid of that flower. You don't have to get rid of that flower. That flower is not there in the first place. It's just your eyes that are diluted. Why do you have to annihilate that flower? It's unreal flower, but it's because of the unreal mind. If you fix up your unreal mind become real, that flower does not exist. You don't have to kill that flower. That flower exists, but it exists on an illusion. It still exists. You don't have to kill it. Its existence is emptiness. It's because the eyes that are bad. You change your eyes, you modify your mind, you automatically know that flower is never there. If that flower has never been there, how can you say that flower disappeared? Only if it appears before, then it disappears. If it doesn't even appear, how can it disappear? Next question. What are the 32 physical characteristics attributes? Are they good deeds? The 32 attributes are the Buddha's attributes. Bright, good-looking, long earlobes, broad shoulders. And we try to carve and make Buddha from the 32 meritorious attributes that's written in the sutra. Those are good attributes. Extremely good-looking, gracious, exquisite, radiating energy of light. You can count 32 of these characteristics that the Buddha has. But even a Chakravarti has 32 attributes. The wheel turning, the universe king, Chakravarti, also has 32 attributes because of all the good deeds that they have done. So when a person has 32 attributes, that does not mean that he's the Buddha. He just have done a lot of meritorious deeds. Chakravarti also has the true 32 attributes. Okay, so if you perceive the Tathagata by the 32 attributes, you lose it. You shouldn't perceive the Tathagata, the Buddha, by his 32 attributes. If you perceive the Buddha by his sound, by his appearance, you're diluting yourself. The Diamond Sutra said so. You really have to study it. First time comers, it's tough for you to know about it because it's the Buddha's philosophy. You really have to study and find out. Next question. Do you have any advice for someone who would like to integrate daily meditation into a busy life? Often I have to travel. My workload changes all the time, sometimes consuming me. If your workload is heavy and that you always have to travel, you can do that in hotel. You can learn chanting in hotel. You can learn meditation you can meditate in hotel too. And if you're on a plane, instead of watching television on the plane, why don't you just do some chanting? Chant Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. If you go to Asia, if you travel from here to Asia, 13 hours flight to Hong Kong, you have 13 hours of chanting. You can take a break in between, and then you chant your Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. But you didn't do that. You turn on the television and you watch these crazy movies. So don't blame other people for not having make your trip comfortable or make allowance for a lot of time for you to practice meditation, because you are not strong enough. You're not firm enough. If you say, okay, I have 13 hours of traveling, I'll use it wisely. I'll turn on the news channel and I watch for 2 hours. And then for the rest of the time, I would like to do some chanting and some meditation. I would like to contemplate on life. Why do I come to this world? When I die, where will I go? Or there's so many things that you can think about. You can utilize your time as long as you are strong enough in your motive. So how do you integrate a meditation schedule in it? You must be strong. You must learn your chanting. Why do I have to recite the Buddha's name? Why do I have to say Namo Amitofo, Namo Amitofo? Why do I have to recite the Buddha's name? That's a good question. You recite the Buddha's name so that you can strengthen your Vijnapti and supplement it to a higher purification. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Let me just explain some more. You recite Namo Amitofo to strengthen your Vijnapti. You know what Vijnapti? Vijnapti is your consciousness. It's a Sanskrit word for that alaya consciousness. Alaya consciousness. The Vijnapti, you strengthen it, you cultivate it, you chant Namo Amitofo. You are strengthening Vijnapti, which is your consciousness. You're strengthening your consciousness to supplement it, to improve it to a higher level, to supplement it to a higher purification, to a higher level of understanding. That's number one. If you view it from the scientific and the logical side, you're training your consciousness to supplement your consciousness to a higher purification. The second is, you are attuning your consciousness to the frequency of the Buddha. Because the Buddha has certain frequency. You are now attuning that frequency to the universal grand station of Amitabha's land. Assuming Amitabha's land has certain frequencies that you need to attune to. Every time when you chant Namo Amitofo, Namo Amitofo, you are attuning your mind radio to that grand universal radio. You are attuning it. In other words, you're communicating with your best teacher. Don't you have to communicate with your teacher? Or you don't have to communicate with your teacher? You communicate with your teacher all the time, then your teacher will teach you by correspondence. Are you going to take the corresponding course? That corresponding course is in the tuning of the radio. Every time you tune Namo Amitofo, that corresponding course comes to your radio. That's the second reason why you should chant Namo Amitofo. The third reason, Amitofo make a wish. Whoever can chant his name at the juncture of death, if your mind is so pure and so clear that you just chant Namo Amitofo for 10 times, he will receive your consciousness into that land. In other words, you don't have to go through these different hotels anymore. You don't have to roll yourself into different forms of hotel, life after life of reincarnation. You directly go immigrate to the land of happiness, to Amitofo's land. Because Amitofo have that wish. You still haven't been enlightened yet. You're not the Buddha yet, but you obtain that ability by that linkage of the wish of Amitabha and your vow that your soul will be received in there. You will be born in there from a lotus. You won't be born from a mother's embryo. Whenever you chant Namo Amitofo, the bud comes up. And if you chant fervently with devotion, it's sort of open. At the juncture of death, if you're so fervent and so devoted, it all open, and just at a twinkling of time, a time as short as twisting your elbow. Twisting your elbow, is that a short time? Twisting your elbow? twisting your elbows time, you will be reborn in the Pure Land on the lotus. You don't have to reincarnate again. You don't go through all these different hotels again. You walk directly. You're being sublimated to the Pure Land. No more reincarnation for you. And in that Pure Land, you still have to learn. But there, Amitabha, the Buddha, is your teacher. And the Goddess of Mercy, Avalokitesvara, is the assistant professor. And many, many saints and arahats are there. Be your friends, your fellow students. So in there, you don't have to reincarnate again, and you enlighten until you become the Buddha. No more suffering. That's why you have to chant. And I can always find a fourth reason for you. Whenever you are chanting Nam Mô A Di Đà Phật, actually you are practicing samadhi. You are practicing concentration, because you concentrate in that term, Amitabha. You are not thinking of anything else. What would you have thought had you not been chanting Amitabha? You would have been thought of, this is a good movie, that's a beautiful actress, that's a beautiful actor. Oh, this guy is bad, that guy is good. And you're browsing around for your next door passengers, and that guy is a fat guy, and this guy is a good-looking guy. And he's snoring when he's sleeping. Stupid. He's disturbing me. Look at this kind of food on the plane. It's junk. And then you complain. Can I have a coffee? Coffee is cold. Can I have a better, warmer coffee? What are you doing? You're discriminating. You're using your discriminatory mind to function. But if you're not doing that, you converge your mind into Nam Mô A Di Đà Phật. You're training your mind. I truly enjoy this service. Thank you. Are you the first time comer? You truly enjoy the service? That's great. I hope that this will induce you onto a spiritual odyssey. Don't just look at materialism. You never get satisfaction or happiness just from the enjoyment of material. You have to supplement your spirituality to a higher level. That's what we call wisdom. Your wisdom level has to go up and higher and higher. When you go that to the prajna level, then you're learning the Buddha's teaching. That's what the Buddha's been doing. The Buddha has been sublimating and elevating himself to a higher and higher level until he reached complete enlightenment, complete understanding. And once he shed off this body, he's not going into another body anymore. You and I, we keep on rolling into a different form. Who knows our next form? Maybe the form of a doggy, of a grizzly bear, of a hawk, of animals, of ghosts, of victims of inferno, of a poor guy, of a person starving in the jungle of Africa or in a poor country, or an individual in wars being killed by soldiers. Many, many reincarnation cases. And let's learn the Buddha's teaching. Today, you have cultivated your seed. You sow your seed in your alaya consciousness. You've got to find that way. Don't roll into another body again in your next life. Stop the continuity. Go into the sagely path. Become the Buddha. Attain Anuttara Samya Sambuddhi. All right, I put an end to today's talk. Thank you.